official? I mean, wear finger whistles? You do? I mean, I do. I wear, no matter what position I'm working, I wear a finger whistle. It's just my thing. Bruce's rule was back whenever he was in charge, you couldn't do that because of the one reason. And what's the reason? God bless Max Melton, love him to death, but Max had a habit of giving the one-handed incomplete pass signal and the one-handed stop the clock. And you don't have to do that. So if you are that guy, don't do that because you make it bad for the rest of us that don't do that. The finger whistle is a great thing. It'll keep you out of a lot of trouble. Last year, I didn't wear a whistle on the football field on Saturday. I didn't even take one with me because I was not going to go there and have an inverted whistle, right? As a center judge, I had no business blowing a whistle anytime, any way, any shape, any form. And a lot of times as a back judge, you may be like that on Friday night, because once you get an IW, what's on your mind the rest of the game? IW, and you can't get it out. And now with the regime that we have, what's an IW mean for you? End of your season, if it happens, in November, December. So we'll be very careful about that. Who said it right there? Buckner, what did you say about IW? See the ball, right? See the ball. Don't be in such a hurry to blow the whistle dead, to blow it dead, because
I think people anticipate they're gonna have a dead ball.
Who's had an IW before? Raise your hand. Who's not?
Liar.
The new guys. The new guys have it, yeah. Yeah, I had two.
When you're lying.
You're going to get one eventually. I had one at the 5-yard line on a 95-yard run as a line judge. Kid got to the 5-yard line, dropped the ball, and I was about to 20, and I went, shoot. Don't do that, right? Follow up. Be there where you're supposed to be. Good stuff, okay? Yeah, that was. Now that's a different version of the one right there. Any questions, comments on whistles? We all got one. You're going to have it with you.
So, when to sound the whistle? When the runner's down, when the ball is out of bounds, when a forward pass is incomplete, when a live ball is dead by rule. The main takeaway is this sentence right here. The whistle does not cause a live ball to become dead. The ball is dead prior to the whistle being blown. That's the big takeaway. Take your time. The ball is already dead. None of this, they used to, teach, you play through the echo of the whistle, did the defense, you hit them. No, if you do that, that's a personal foul. It's a dead ball, personal foul is what it is. It's not our job to tell the players when to stop if the runner's down. They got eyes, they can see. Okay? We do not have to blow the whistle immediately as soon as we think the runner hit the ground. We have to make sure we know the runner is on the ground before we blow the whistle. All right? Any questions about that?
The runner's on the ground with the ball.
Well, then he wouldn't be the runner.
Sometimes we blow it when he's down, he doesn't have the ball.
Yeah. But then he's not the runner if he doesn't have the ball.
Runner.
Yeah.
All right, Larry.
So, before you go to the next slide, the single most important thing that we do as football officials is this right here. Anybody disagree with that statement? Communication is what it's all about. Who do we communicate with on the field?
Each other, the players.
Each other. Just holler them out one at a time. I got each other.
Everybody.
Players, coaches,
Fans.
the press box, the fans, the chain crew. We've got an excellent play we're going to talk about. Communication with your chain crew. Ball boys.
Water girls.
No, stay away from them. Okay, that'll get you in trouble.
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
Just the word all girls will get you.
Yeah. The most impressive and most successful officials are those that are able to communicate efficiently. You can be a rules person. You can quote this rule book up one side and down the other. You can be, you can be the guy who knows everything about this. But if you can't communicate effectively when you step on the football field, you're going to have problems, right? You just are. It's going to get back to everybody. You want to be able to effectively talk to people without taking on an air of superiority. Have you ever worked with an official that was my field? Yeah, this is my game. You're not going to do that in my game. how does that sit with you? And if you're that guy, you can just sit quiet for a second. But how does that sit with you as a fellow official? Does it make you feel good? Does it make you feel comfortable? It's not a dictatorship out there. It is truly a democracy. It's a team. Now, at the end of the day, the referee's got to make the decision. And he got a picture of Spillane on an earlier slide here a minute ago. And Spillane made that joke about, this being a dictatorship. And it was just a good joke right there. But at the end of the day, you all must effectively communicate. And it starts with the referee, and it works its way all the way, on down. You got to be able to relate to other people. Well, how do you start to relate to football people, all the people you just named? The first way is you got to want to be there, right? If you're doing it for the money, if you're doing it because you don't want to be at home with your wife, if you're doing it for a host of wrong reasons, are you going to be able to effectively communicate?
For the fame?
If you're doing it for the fame and the money and the cool uniform, you're probably doing it for the wrong reason, right? You're probably doing it for the wrong reason. And we'll talk more in detail here, but tone is important. What do I mean by tone? I don't mean me and Doug, right?
Presentation.
Your tone of voice.
Presentation.
How you say things. Now, Doug and I laugh whenever he's with his rookies. Doug's got a tone of voice with his rookies. Y'all heard his tone of voice with his rookies?
Oh, yeah.
That don't really work too good with the coaches all the time, right? But he knows when to turn it on, and he knows when to turn it off. And if you're an official who has a barking tone, if you have a sarcastic tone, if you have a condescending tone, are you going to be successful? You're not going to be successful. Now, does it occasionally happen? Yeah. Hank can tell you a story about me last year with a bad tone of voice, right? Yeah, it didn't go well when I got ran over by a kid who I thought intentionally ran over me. It was not a good tone. Right?
Weren't you Frankie's boy?
Yeah, I was Frankie's boy. He held a bad tone towards me, and then I allegedly had a tone back with him. That's a whole other story, Mike. Thanks for bringing up bad memories. Body language. Bruce, who was the official who worked the state final, and between plays he kind of stood over there like this? Who was that guy? You don't have to say his name, but you know what I'm talking about? Oh my gosh, What does that say to the coach?
You don't want to be here.
I'm bored, I'm not in the game. What about this?
Same thing.
What about hands on the hips? If you don't have encroachment, you probably don't need to have your hands on your hips, right?
Might be tired.
Could be tired, but if you're tired, you might want to do something about that.
That's right.
Right? What other body language can you say that's not good? Yeah, your head down. If you blew a call and you know you blew a call, what can you not do? And you put that head down. When that coach is all over you, you're sagging. That's not a good thing, right? What about word choice? Words mean things, don't they? Have you ever talked to a coach and been flustered and couldn't get your words out? No? Nobody? I'm the only one that's done that? Yeah. And sometimes you just got to take a breath, right? But if the coach is barking at you, what is a natural human instinct? To bark back. Does that do any good?
No.
Does it help? I equate talking to coaches like my golf game, right? And I'm a mediocre golfer, but when I take my time and I really draw back and I hit it easy, nice. What that ball does what? It takes a nice, it goes about 12 yards straight though, right?
Is that how you go?
About 12, 13. Same thing with coaches. I know that when that coach is yelling and screaming, if I will go to him and simply just listen, put my hands to my side and listen, he'll bark himself out and then I can talk. And that's when I'm my most effective. But just like my golf swing, when I get angry or mad or frustrated, the harder I swing, what happens? The more I slice that thing off in the woods. It might go 14 yards, but it's 14 yards in the woods. That doesn't mean good. Same thing with coaches. I got to keep that right tone because I know what right looks like. I've done it a lot, enough that I know. But it gets on your nerves, right? Wally, last year we were together somewhere. The coach, was he getting on my nerves? Yeah. Was he getting on your nerves? Yeah. He was getting on everybody's nerves. He was just on our nerves. And finally, I said something to the coach that I probably shouldn't have said. And the state newspaper's there, and they got a great picture of him and I just kind of face to face. You looking for it right there? And I said, Coach, stop, okay? Talk to me like I'm a man, and I'll do the same to you. But he was just whining. He was whining. And that gets on your nerves. But I know better, right? I know better. And you should know better. New officials, you turn around, spin around, hitting that tone of voice with the coach is a bad thing because nothing good is going to come out of it. Now, what he did, when I said that to him, his eyes got about that big, and you know what he did? He shut up and went to the sideline, and he started yelling at Wiley. It was perfect. That's exactly what I wanted.
Give some suggestions for what you should say when you got
I am.
Yeah,
Just
take the argument away from them.
Mm-hmm.
Just tell them, you may be right, coach. Next time I'll try to get a little different angle. Maybe I'll see it differently.
Yeah, I got a couple of quotes and how they're misquoted here as well.
You might want to mention that it's even more important in sub-varsity and youth games, because the emotion gets even higher amongst those coaches.
It really does, and it's kind of odd. And you know, we'll talk about tolerance and things that you tell. That's why I asked the Lexington coach. I got you, Buck, in just a second. It's like I asked the Lexington coach the other day about that, because I've tolerated varsity coaches all day long. Assistant coaches, very short leash on things like that, because typically they don't really know what they're talking about. You know, that's what we typically find out. Buck,
Like I had a game last year, a guy had about 30 years of experience. The coach said, "I'm not an idiot, I know the rules." And he responded, "Well, I didn't call you this, you did." And it went down. You can't, I didn't raise no voice up. I didn't belittle him, yes you did.
yeah, there's ways that you do things. You can't quote silence. I promise you, if Saturday morning Charlie gets a phone call that's from a coach that says, official Y missed a holding call, you're working next week. If you miss a pass interference, you're working next week. You miss a whatever, you're working next week. But if he says that you called him an asshole, guess what? You're probably not working next week, right? Or the week after, or whatever. So don't give them anything to quote you on, right? In fact, judges, y'all got it easy, because if you're going to talk to a coach, you really got to go out of your way. And definitely don't say anything bad when you do that. Referees, you're going to talk to coaches. Wing officials, every play you're probably going to communicate with coaches. But don't give them something to misquote you on, right? I take a witness, right? I'm like going to church. I want a witness. When I go talk to the coach, and I found myself last year with a witness with me, and I got over there and he done got sidetracked. And I'm talking to a coach by myself. Not a good thing. Because what will they do on you?
Lie.
They will lie, okay? They're not your friends necessarily. You know, they won't do it intentionally, but they will misquote you is what they will do, right?
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was thinking about that same thing. A coach called Bruce one time. I told the coach, knock that crap off. But when it got to Bruce, it was,
Yeah, a little bit more.
knock that S and T off.
Same thing.
Something, well, it's how you say it's your tone, right? Now, I will tell you this, though. Sometimes you got to stand up for yourself, don't you?
That's right.
You can't get abused out there the whole time. You got to let the coach know when he's crossed the line. And there's a couple ways you can do it. You wing officials are a lot better about this than a lot of us who deal with that not as frequently as you do. But let's talk about some things that you can say to coaches or not, as the case may be. Okay, so I titled this, How, Why, and With Whom Do We Communicate? And we talked about that. Players, coaches, fans, chain crew. Game management is critical. Who is game management? Maybe the athletics director, maybe something like that. You know, I try to have a great relationship with game management because it's important, isn't it? The time that we were at a 1A school and they were supposed to pick us up at 6:25 to ride us to 5 minutes to the school for a 7:30 game, right? Well, they didn't show up till about 7:15 to pick us up. And when I walked on the field, Bruce, all I said was to the athletics director, he said, "Hey, I need you to fill out this paperwork right here for you. We'll get paid." And I was just as nice as I could be. I said, "Well, if you had that at the school or at the motel, before we got here, we could probably have already done that, so we're already late. And if you could get the bus there on time," you know what he said to me? "You won't have to worry about it anymore." And I was like, oh, he's going to take care of it. That's what. Was he going to take care of it? Yeah, he took care of the problem.
Yep.
I have not been to Hemingway since. And I thank him every day for that. Right? Be polite to those people, fellow officials, others that you already named. Effective officials consistently exchange clear information. Clear information. A little bit later we're going to talk about penalty administration and how that's critical, that it needs to be clear information that you're telling them. Okay? crisp signals, approved signals. Garrett could talk about the signals in a little while. Those things are extremely important. You start making up your own signals, right? What are you saying, right? We don't do preliminary signals either, do we? Wing officials, you throw a flag, what do? Kind of come in and tell somebody. One official gets to do preliminary signals, other than the referee. Who's that official? The back judge gets 2 preliminary signals. What are they? Delayed game and illegal substitution, right? We got it. We pretty much know it. That's the only 2 calls they got in the whole game anyway, so just as well not worry about running all the way in the intelligence. But the rest of us, we can run in and talk, right? And we're not in such a hurry. Most of the stadiums that we work in, you could probably just yell it from the sideline, right? Hank, I got a false start. Yeah, okay, thank you, I got you very much. But we don't need to give preliminary signals from the sideline. It's just not necessary. When the heat is on, we expect officials to calmly explain the decision to an irate coach. And I said to an irate captain, but I really didn't mean that way. You're not going to deal with an irate captain. But an irate coach, you know, he wants to know what's going on. How can you fix that? Who's one of my veteran referees here? Who is the senior most referee we got in the room here? Anybody? Nobody?
Right there.
Homer.
Oh, yeah, Homer. That's right. You moved from line judge. How do you talk to coaches when they're angry?
As calmly as I possibly can.
That's the key right there. Can you add fuel to the fire?
Oh, God, yes.
Pour that gasoline on right there, baby. Watch them smoke.
Light it.
Yeah. But you've got to be able to tell them something when the heat is on and explain it. And if it's a weird, complicated situation, don't leave it to your line judge to go do it. Because I promise, as good as their intentions are, will they always get it right? Y'all played that game in kindergarten where you tell him something, he tells him something. Well, by the time it gets to the coach, it ain't nowhere near what really happened. So let's just take it from the horse's mouth as best we can. Make sure that we're able to effectively communicate that. What I mean by verbal communication versus nonverbal, we talked about body language, but what are some other nonverbal communications that we can do to coaches, good and bad? Nonverbal communication. Your wing official, Dave.
Hustle.
Yeah, we show it by our hustle, right? That's an excellent form of nonverbal communication. What else?
He's trying to get your attention and you just flat out ignoring him.
That's terrible, right? That's bad nonverbal communication, right? What could you do with the coach? If he's behind you, you're focused on your line of scrimmage, do you have time to turn and say, Coach, I'll get to you in a minute, right? What do?
Establish early on a relationship with, my name is such, you call my name, I'll try and get you.
Some rapport? Can you give him a signal?
Yeah.
Can you give him something? What do you give him?
I got you, Coach. I got you.
Coach, I got you. Give me 1 second, Coach. I'm listening, okay? Just something to let him know, because what do you think coaches hate more than anything else? Other than officials. Being ignored, right? All they want to do is be heard, and you can hear them, right? But just acknowledge. Coach, I'll get to you in just a second. I got it. Let me focus right here. I'll get you that number as quick as I can. Okay? Now, captains, I don't give so much leeway. We have a flag, and here comes the kid. What happened? Who did it? Who did it? What's the number? Right? No, I don't say what I want to say to him. You know, this is not. I'll be talking to the other captain right now because it's on you.
You got to look up,
right?
Brute.
Yeah.
You got to look up when you're telling him that.
It depends on what school. It depends what school. The schools you work in. What other nonverbal communication? Well, you guys have been doing this a long time. Yeah, we'll talk about your appearance, excellent, how you look, right? You show up on the field looking good, you're going to be respected immediately, right? You will. And if you look like a dirtbag, you're going to get treated like a dirtbag.
What's staring someone down or staring someone down?
Oh, we're going to talk about that flagrant stare in a little bit, Mike Gary, all right? Eye contact versus staring them down, right? Look at a coach now, Coach, I got you. But you dared him, right? Mike Gary threw a coach out of a basketball game for a flagrant stare. Am I lying right there?
It was a little more involved than that.
Yeah, look. Hey, look. I'm not here to let the truth get in the way of a good story. Okay? Make eye contact with the coach. Don't stare him down. You know, I had a situation at Lawrence. I have not been to Lawrence since. The wing official did not call forward progress, and the kid got driven back a long ways. I'll tell you how far in a minute. And the other team, he fumbles. The kid gets the ball, scores a touchdown. They call a timeout, and the coach comes out there during the timeout, and he stares at me like this the whole time. It was a flagrant stare. And what should I have done? I should have just walked away, right? But I didn't. I said, Coach, you look like you got something you want to say. And he said, not right here, not right now. Okay, fair enough. But when the game was over, he chased us off the field saying bad, profane things about us, right? It didn't go well for him. Well, then I came, this was the Marlboro County year. Remember Marlboro County got in a big fight? So I came to the hearing, and I'm sitting here, and somebody said, hey, Larry, you know Coach X? I mean, yeah, we've met. And I said, Coach, how far was that progress driven back? He said, just 14 yards.
Wow.
Yeah. We officially kind of blow that progress, right? You got to communicate that his progress was stopped before that ball came. 14 yards. He sent me the film. He was right. That's not good, is it? Communication is important, right? What about this perception thing? Appearance, posture. We talked about body language and things like that, okay? Looking the part when you walk on the field is extremely important. Signals, we talked about being crisp. Flags, putting flags where they... Is there an angry flag? You ever seen one of those?
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever had? Who's had an angry flag before? I have. I'm not proud of it, but I have. Roughing the passers, kind of gives me a little angry flag. Sometimes I know better, but sometimes, right? Unsportsmanlike. How high do you throw your flag on unsportsmanlike? Right? Yeah, you saw. Let me tell you. I watched Dennis O'Keefe throw the same flag 3 times, and each one got progressively higher. I was impressed he could bend over that 3rd time and throw it.
He did. He had 3 flags.
No, he just kept them coming. But Scott Early had gotten the best of him that night, and he did not. It was not his proudest moment. And that's that communication thing. I had a relationship with Coach Early, and he came out. He said, please don't throw me out of this game. And he got on his knees, and he was still taller than me. And he's like, please don't throw me. I said, Coach, hold on, I'm going to go talk to Dennis. And I went and communicated. I said, Dennis, are you sure that he said that? You sure it wasn't a trainer or somebody we can pin this thing on? Oh, no, it was him. So I go back and I tell him. I say, Coach, you got to stand up, and now you got to leave. And he left. And we go there, and we mark them all ready for play, and the other coach called a timeout. And he said, well, I talked to the referee. So I go with a witness. I said, yes, sir, Coach. He goes, I just need you to know Coach Early's sitting in the 7th row up in the stands. And you know what I said? I said, Coach, I can't see him. And I went on about my business, right? But it's communication. It's the whole thing. Okay? Communication. Next slide, please. This is, when we send this slide deck out, you can see this is an article. I took some of these things from this article. It's written by a soccer official, and it's really good. It's just a good article that you'll have. I think the link works that you can click on it. It's a PDF that Garrett did. But remember, communication is just that. It's a two-way street. You got to be a sender and a receiver. You can't be the sender only. You got to be a receiver. When you are a referee, you got to receive information. How many of y'all get your blinders on? I'm the only one who gets my blinders on out there. I throw a flag. I know what I got. I get focused, right? We all get like that. But sometimes you need more information from somebody else, don't you? So we have to slow that thing down. And don't be just a purveyor of information, be a receiver of information. Right? Is there anything wrong with number 2 there? Smile, be friendly?
No.
There's nothing wrong with that, right? Now you can't be like, ha-ha. You can't be like this official from the upstate who has this nervous tick. So Coach Ringer, it's good to see you. I'm so sorry to hear about your wife passing away. He goes, yeah, Coach, me too. Ha-ha-ha. Laugh, right? He didn't mean anything. But those of us that know him just know that that's a tick that he has, right? That's why we call him Ha. Right? That communication didn't go well. But there's nothing wrong with being friendly before the game. You know, Coach, how you doing? I'm Larry. It's good to see you. Good luck. Congratulations on being here. Whatever. Establish that rapport. I tell all the guys on the crew with us, don't just talk to the coach on your sideline. You got that 30 minutes before the game. Do what? Go talk to the other coach. You know? Coach, hey, I say hello to you. You know, don't play each other against each other. You know, we're one big team out there. Let's do that. Be friendly. Coach, I don't know the answer to that, but I'm going to help you out. What do you not say? Coach, that guy's an idiot. I don't know why he threw that damn flag right there. That's the worst thing you can say.
So much for the bus.
All right? Throw him right under the bus. Coach, if it was me, I'd never do that to your team. All right? Next week, you're on the other side. He knows the difference. Be approachable. All right? Be approachable. Who knows what RBF is? It's a new high school term. You ever got kids in high school? What is RBF? What is it? Resting bitch face, right? It's what some of these teenage girls have. They just look like resting bitch face all the time, right? As an official, you don't want to be that, do you? You don't want to look like just angry all the time because coaches don't want to talk to you. Players don't want to, and maybe that's what you want. But I promise when things start going bad, you want them to talk to you. You want to communicate with them. You want them to help you. Establish a rapport. I don't mean buddy-buddy. Right? You don't have to be an arm around the coach giving him noogies and stuff like that before the game. But you need to have a rapport with him. You know, you need to, because coaches come out there, they're paranoid. They don't always know the rules very good, and they're just certain that they're fixing to get screwed, right? So you got to try to do what you can for the organization to kind of cut that out. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think it's really important what you said. If you communicate with one coach, the other coach is going to look at you doing that, and if you don't communicate with him, you're going to wonder why.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, so if you spend 6 minutes with this coach in the little pregame, try to spend about the same amount of time, right? Don't be sarcastic with the coach. You know, answer his questions politely. I say something to coaches that in the pregame that some officials don't like, but I've been doing it 27 years. It's worked out pretty good so far. But if the coach has some kind of play he wants to talk about, I'll say, okay, that's pretty good. Go ahead and tell me the play. All right, good. Thank you very much. But if he says, oh, and their team over there, they're dirty, they like to chop, I said, hold on a second, let me get the other coach over here and we'll talk to both y'all at the same time about it. And he's like, never mind, I'm good. But I mean, I don't let him eat up that precious pregame time with him complaining about the other coach being a dirty coach. Because it's really not, what can we do about that? Right? It just prejudices, it makes us prejudice against that team or not, right? Lose the egos, right? This is not your game. It's not my game. It's what? It's the kids' game. All we're there to do is make sure that the savages on this team don't kill the savages on this team, right? We're on the same playing field. There's 3 teams out there. Team A, Team B, and the officials, right? We've got to make sure that we're a good team. But we don't need to have an ego out there, that we're the best team on the field. We probably are, right? We don't need to have an ego with the players or anybody else. Okay? If you ever get to the point where you got an ego, Jack Childers would work Florida State Clemson on Thursday, and he'd work a high school game on Friday. He never had an ego out there. It was never about him. It was about the game and the kids. That's what we need to do. You got to admit you make mistakes. Anybody ever made a mistake on the field? Yeah. Are you man enough to say it?
No, Dennis says, new rule, coach. Good call, 1908.
Is it okay to say, hey, coach, I blew that. I don't know what to tell you. I blew it. We can fix it, you know? Yeah, well, we might not can fix it this time, you know? We might not can fix it, but you got to learn. Now, if you admit in every play you're making a mistake and you're telling the coach, hey, coach, I effed that one up too, my man. Probably not good for your career, right? But if you have a mistake, and one of the worst officiating mistakes that I had so far is in a baseball game. You know, a baseball game, American Legion, and the kid looks back, the catcher looks back at me and says, hey, Blue, how many outs is it? And I just glanced at before I needed reading glasses, that's why I quit doing baseball, because I can't see my clicker here. And I just glanced and said, it's 2 outs. Next pitch, right down the pipe, right clear. And the catcher gets the ball, he rolls it to the pitcher's mound, and runs off the field. When the kid from third comes in and scores. Because there was only 1 out. Now, I had to eject the coach who didn't score that run when I put that kid back at third base. But who messed that up? I did, right? I was solely responsible. And I said, Coach, I tell you, I said, Coach, that kid would have never scored, and that kid would have never rolled that ball to the pitcher's mound had I not erroneously told him. Well, he should know. Okay, good. I got it. I am
Mumble.
I'm mumbling.
You say, Jerry, they say, what? Jerry, they'll say, isn't it 2 outs? And they'll say, yeah, it's 2 outs.
I didn't know that then. He's mumbling. So it was a long time ago. But I put the kid back, and I did what I felt was the right thing. Right? Because we want to get it right on the field is what we want to do, right? That's the bottom line, is get it right. And everybody's got their own version of get it right. But my version was get it right, right? Explain things when possible. You can't explain every single thing to the coach every down. Why was that holding? Hold on, coach. Time out. All right, coach, the reason it was holding is you know, you can't get into all that. But if it's anything unusual, I'll tell the coach, I said, Coach, if it's anything unusual, I will not make you call timeout. I will come and explain it to you, or I will make sure that you know.
That's right.
If it's a penalty administration, if it's anything remotely complicated, I'm not telling this 16-year-old kid. You know, I'm going to go tell the coach, hey, coach, you want to decline this penalty would be what you got to thank you very much. And they appreciate that. That's that rapport. Now, don't go telling him something, you're just making it up, right? Yeah, coach, you should decline this thing. What? I give them their best. Here's what I always tell them. I'm going to give you your best option first, right? If this is a situation, I'm going to give you your best option first, right? I don't. Oh, he can do what he wants to do in that situation. I'm going to give him his best option first. I might say to a captain, you want to decline. I mean, it's a holding foul, and on the offense, they got an interception. I'm not going to the coaches and the captain saying, okay, number 77 here, you got this foul right here. You can take the ball here by declining the penalty, or you can play 10 yards from the previous spot. Don't give them all that. You tell them what you're going to do. Here's what you're going to do. Okay. Communicate on their level. Communicate on their level. Right? These are kids. These are 16-year-old kids out there. Talk to them like they're 16-year-old kids. Have fun with them. Sam has the most fun of any former umpire out there. He's laughing, cutting up with these kids. What do you always ask them? What's that one question you ask them you got in their pocket for you?
Who?
Sam said, you got a pork chop sandwich? You got a pork chop sandwich? Now that's his line, John. Don't use that for your own.
I know, he always asks the trainer time out too. You got a pork chop sandwich?
He's got it.
He's just on the players.
Look, he's friendly out there. There's nothing that, you don't have to be a jackleg to go out and do this thing, right? You don't have to be a hate figure. I promise you, there are people who already hate you. The fans hate you. Some of the coaches hate you. You don't have to let them realize that that perception is real. It doesn't have to be real, does it? It doesn't have to be real. Now, there are some that are going to hate you no matter what. Period. They're just not going to like officials. Mike, coaches are what? Mike Gary said a long time ago, coaches are all... Coaches, you said they're rats.
Rats.
They're all rats.
They're all rats.
Now, I don't know if that's true or not.
That's true.
But they're not necessarily there to be your friends. Okay, so be careful. All right? Be careful. Now,
Just don't be surprised.
sideline management is absolutely critical. Okay? I moved to referee a long time ago. So I have not had to go back where you were here real quick. I have not had an opportunity to see some of this personally up close in a long time. But I found some of these screenshots. That's my field judge up around. And I'd never seen Coach Sweeney like that. He was mad, right? He was mad. What was he mad about?
I don't know.
Something Gamecocks did. You know, he couldn't help himself right there. Now, Coach Muschamp, he's mad about something all the time, right? I don't know what he's mad about, but he's mad about people all the time. So this isn't just about mad coaches. This sideline management is about you controlling something that's a critical part of the game. So let's take a look here and talk about some of that. What's happening in that upper right-hand corner there? Everybody but the officials is in the restricted area, right? Why can't they be there? The number one real, yeah, the rule does, but the number one reason for the rule is what?
Safety.
Safety. Okay? The number one reason for the rule. And I've had wing officials tell me, I'm out there in the middle of the field, and I look over and I see all that going on, and I might say to the wing official, new guys that stand and say, hey, you know, Jay, I'm not back those coaches up. Hey, no, they don't bother me. I'm working on the field. Is that a problem?
Yes.
Yes. Because they may not bother you until there's a change of possession. They may not bother you until now there's a kickoff, and guess where? I'm lined up.
That's right.
Yeah, and I see them from 30 yards away. I'm going to flag them freaking immediately, right? And I shouldn't have to do your job. Do it for you because you'll make your life a lot easier. You don't have to be a jerk about it. I done told you one time to get off that side. Do all that. You just get their attention. You know, stop the clock and say, you know, try to say, Coach, I'm gonna give you this early warning, okay? You gotta back up and get out of the restricted area. Just do it early, and they will. You know, nice tone of voice, do it with a smile. Coach, you gotta help me out, okay? Don't gotta back up. And that's it. That's the last time you ask.
Good to talk to them about that before the game.
Sure. The only negative before is they got all kind of things to say. Coach, I'm gonna be over here.
Yeah, but you-
I gotta be safe.
You can make your point.
I
Yeah,
gotta
then
be
the-
safe. I gotta work.
Then there's a problem if the coach from team A sees coach
Oh.
from team B doing it, and then coach from team A is telling Doug Hudson he wants to do it too, and that's gonna be a problem.
That's gonna be a problem.
Now this is an easy problem to fix right here, right? The official's way down there. Now this guy right here is one coach. Is that a problem?
Yes.
Come on, it's just one coach.
Yes.
It's the head coach. Can he be there? No, he can't because it's dangerous. And the other coach now thinks he can do it.
That's right.
And it creates a problem. And it's like ants at a picnic, right? One gets up there, what happens? They all get up there. For some reason, they can see the game better from the light than they can from taking one step back and keeping you safe out there. Now, this one's a real problem right here, right? He's all excited, you know, his player, I think.
That's still the key word.
That's what I'm saying. His interception or something was just running with his tent, and he's all running the wrong way, and now he's in the way. And that's a flag. How much did that cost him? Who knows it? It cost him 15 yards and $100,000 the NFL fined that coach. 100. Google that or look him up. That's the Pittsburgh coach. That cost him $100,000. Well, we're not going to find high school coaches $100,000. But if they fined him $100, they would stop doing some of this. Okay. Now, this is a clip here that we're not going to play right here. Okay, so this is just one that when you get this, if you want to clip it, it's 20 minutes of sideline management. It is at the collegiate level, so some of the rules and the things are not exactly, they're not even remotely right. But it just gives you some ideas of how to deal with coaches on the side.